Hey everyone, Pigeon here, and we have got my CGC Express returns back. Now these have only been away a couple of months, I think, about 8 weeks in total, and they are back. I've seen the grades already because the Poke Bros did a video and they showed the grades off and talked through the cards and whether they thought it was fair, and I agreed to that and I said yeah, that's fine. So I know what the grades are, but let's go through them and see if I can put my feelings onto it and just walk through the grades. And I love these cards. These are some of my favourite cards I sent off, and I can't wait to show you guys. Let's take a look. So the first card I want to talk to you about is my Dragonite Game Boy Promo, Japanese from 1998. Now this got a 6.5. This is probably the card that I'm most disappointed with in terms of the grade. It's got a 6.5 and a 9 for surface centering, 6 on surfaces, 6.5 on corners, and a 6.5 on the edges. The edges, there is a bit of centering on the top right, as you can see up here, but the surface, I mean the hollow foil, it looks, I think surfaces is very harsh because the hollow foil I feel is clean. I couldn't see any visible scratches on, but it's just such a nice looking card. It's so crisp, so clean, and that Dragonite is just so nice. So we're just changing it up a bit. My rotator just died and I don't have the charger on me, but next up we have the Gengar and Mimikyu GX. Now this card, I love the non-art alt art, but this is the alt art version of the card, and I just love it because Mimikyu's face is just so cute and Gengar in the background is menacing, and Gengar being one of my favourite Pokemon, I had to get this graded. Now it got an 8.5, which I'm very happy with. Modern cards, you're not guaranteed anything. Even when they're pack fresh, they're not guaranteed high cards, but as you can see from the subgrades, we got an 8.5 on the centering, a 9 for surfaces, a 9 for corners, and an 8 for edges. Now the centering, I can agree with that because it's a bit top to bottom heavy and a bit heavier on the left than the right side. Edges got an 8, I can probably tell you why, because there's a big white chunk missing at the top of the card, but for that card, I'm happy. I just wanted it slabbed up anyway, but I'm very happy with that. So our third card that we got graded is probably my favourite card since I started collecting again, and it is the Pikachu from Sword and Shield promos. Now I know this wasn't going to get a 10 because the centering on it was awful. It's very heavy on the right, but on the subgrades you can see we got an 8.5 for centering, 8.5 for surfaces, a 9 for corners, and a 9 for edges. So surfaces, there's probably one little minor scratch on it, considering the card is all hollow, as you can see in the glimmer there. I'm sure there's one little scratch or a couple of little minor scratches that caused it to get an 8.5 on surfaces. Centering, I knew it was going to be nowhere near a 10, so I'm happy with that. No nicks on the back from what I can see, but I just wanted that slabbed up. It's one of my favourite cards, and one of the reasons why the figure box has shot up in price, because people love this card as well, and it's a great card. Next up we have my Venusaur from my CD promo. Might help if I took it out the sleeve so it shines a bit better on camera, but yeah, this has got an 8. So for an old card, a 1998 card this was released in, we got an 8, so I'm very happy with that. We got a 9 for centering, a 7.5 for surface, a 9 for corners, and a 9 for edges. So it was just let down by the surfaces, but I don't think I can see anything wrong unless there's a major scratch on the back that I haven't seen, because the hollow is very clean, and using my light there I can't actually see any actually there's a little dent up there I can see. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone instead of my actual face cam, but the hollow is clean. There is not a scratch on that hollow, but to get an 8 on a very old card, I am perfectly happy with. Now if you saw my short where I showed what I had submitted, you will see that I submitted one of each of the CD promos big 3 in the Venusaur, Charizard and Blastoise, and the Charizard got a 7.5. A 9 for centering, a 7 on the surfaces, a 7.5 on the corners, and a 7.5 for edges. which I think again is quite harsh, but I was happy with anything above a 7 for the older cards because you just don't know. There's probably little scratches somewhere. But the holo is very clean. Like, look at as I shim this light over, there's not a scratch on the holo. So to get a 7 on surfaces, I mean, edges I can understand, there's a little whitening at the top of the corner here. But I don't know. I can't see anything that's shouting out that's a 7. I think I've been a bit harshly done by there. But I will take it. I'm happy with, as I said earlier, I'm happy with over 7s, but that is a great card and I had to get it slabbed. It's one of my favourite artworks, and Charizard takes his place next to Venusaur. And then we have the last of the big three in our Blastoise, and that got a 9. So a 9 I'm more than happy with. The only thing that let it down is the centering. Bit of dust on the case there. Is the centering really that let it down. I mean, it got a 9 for surfaces, a 9.5 for corners, and a 9 for edges. See, I was expecting the Blastoise to get well because it is a very, very mint card. Very, very good. But it's just, obviously, the centering's just let it down that little bit more. If it was just a 9, it might have been... No, it wouldn't have gone up to 9.5 because it's only got one 9.5 subgrade. But Blastoise in a 9 to complete the big three, I can't complain with that. And I love these three artworks because they are the Game Boy artwork. They were the game cover artwork. So Venusaur's obviously green in Japan, and Charizard and Blastoise are red and blue over in English. This card is one of my favourite artworks of all time. It's a McDonald's promo as well, which baffles me because it is such a nice card. It is Squirtle blowing a bubble in all his cuteness. I mean, look at that. And look at this lovely swirl we've got here as well. We've got a lovely little swirl down here. But we get a 7.5 in this card. Centering got a 9.5, which I'm amazed by because it's an e-reader card. So how do you judge what good centering is on that? I don't really know. Surface has got an 8.5, which I'm happy with. Holo is pretty good. There's probably like little marks somewhere, as always. The corners, I believe one of the corners on the back, yeah, up here, has a little bit of whitening going on. And then edges, it wouldn't surprise me if one of the edges is a bit silvered somewhere because of the e-reader card. But I absolutely love that card. It's one of my favourite cards of all time. I had to get that graded when I got it. It's just beautiful. I love that Squirtle blowing a bubble. And the fact Squirtle's eyes look a bit weird as well. I don't think we've seen many cards like that, and I don't think we will see any cards like that in the future. So the other McDonald's promo I sent off in my submission is a Charmander McDonald's promo, and that got a 9.5. Now, a card that came out in 2002 in a McDonald's promo pack got a 9.5, which is just insane. That is the equivalent of a PSA 10, basically, because CGC are harsher graders, but we got 9.5s across the board. This was the one I'm most happy with out of all of them. If you were to say to me, any of the cards got a 9.5, I wouldn't have said any one of the McDonald's ones. I just didn't think it was going to happen. But to get a Charmander in a 9.5, I'm over the moon with that. Absolutely over the moon. Our second to last card in the submission, and it is a Rayquaza GX from the Hidden Fates Premium Ultra Collection box, I think it is. So, I love Rayquaza. It's one of my favourite legendaries, and it's got one of the best shinies. And I had to get this card. I got the actual collection box when I first got back into collecting, so I've got the I've got the Lunala and Solgaleo promos as well. I've got them in my grading pile to be sent off, but Rayquaza I had to get it graded. I just couldn't not get it graded. And we come back with a 9.5. A 9 on centering, a 9.5 on surfaces, 9.5 on corners, and a 9.5 on edges. Now the centering obviously is marked down a little bit because it's top heavy. The bottom is very, well, not very thin, it's just a bit thinner. Right to left seems okay, but I can't complain with that. One of my favourite cards and one of my favourite Pokemon coming back as a 9.5. And then last but not least, we have my Shining Mew from the Cora magazine. came back as an 8.5. Now it got an 8.5 on centering, 8.5 on surfaces, a 9 on corners, and an 8 on edges, which I was actually very surprised about. I thought this was going to come back in about a 6 or a 7, because I'll try and just show you. There is a couple of big nicks on the front, and I thought it was going to get harshly marked down for that. Centering I knew was off, it's heavier on the left, but look at that card. Just look at that hollow foil, look at the pattern. That is one of the best promotional cards they have released, and with the 25th, I pray we get an English print of this, because if we do, that will be my chase card for that set, because this is a beautiful card. And I'm over the moon with an 8.5. Absolutely chuffed to bits with that. Oh, I can't stop looking at it. It's a beautiful card. I know Tim and John were jealous of my submission, so I can't say much more than that. The Poke Bros at the Nerd Kings, I'll leave their grading service link in the description as well. But they were absolutely fantastic. They kept me updated every step of the way, let me know what was going on with the cards. They made everything smooth and easy, and I will definitely be using them for more grading. I just got to get more money to grade with first. But I love these cards that I sent off, and I can't wait to get more submitted. I've been Pigeon. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.